Hello and welcome back to week 5 of the Avenger League weekly preview. What is this? Over a quarter of the way through the regular season. Dude, it just flies by. When you're having a blast and football just comes and goes that fast. So just to get right into it, we're gonna go over the updated rankings just like we always do. Coming in first place, a new face here. Wade jumps into first place. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like he spent most of the season last year also in first place. I think that worked out for him well. Tim jumps into second place. Ashley joins the top 3 in third place. Raleigh in fourth place. Andrew in fifth. And John in sixth. And Charlie in seventh. And that'll end the entire list of people 500 and above. So everybody through that point is 3-1 or 2-2. And then we get to the losers, which goes Cameron, myself, and Trevor as still the lone winless team in the Avenger League. Now moving over to some of the movements from this week. Not a whole lot of insane things happening on the waiver wire. At this point in the season, we kind of know who players are. The breakouts have been stashed, but there were some interesting moves. Trevor added Brock Purdy, looking for a fill-in for his bye week quarterback and Jalen Hurts. I added Justin Fields off of 2 duds from Kyler Murray, and Justin Fields coming off of his best game of the season. And then we got kickers defenses. Dontavian Wicks goes to Andrew. Kareem Hunt goes to Raleigh, who finally showed up for the Chiefs last week. Chase Brown, who didn't even know he was on waivers, has gone to Tim. Another defense. Baker Mayfield goes back to Raleigh. Wan'Dale Robinson also to Raleigh. And then Tim came through, added Trey Sermon off of the Jonathan Taylor news. A couple more defenses. Justice Hill going to Cameron. Looking for some help at running back. And then finally, Ashley looks like officially moving on from Mark Andrews, adding Tucker Kraft of the Green Bay Packers. So, yeah, I mean, there's your ads for this week. A little bit of a teaser for later in the episode, but there's some interesting Steelers news for Justin Fields that I will not spoil yet. We'll get to that in just a moment. But first, we got to spin that thing. So last week we had a highest scoring bench player, which was Kenneth Walker for John, putting up 31.6 points on his bench. So congratulations, and also I am very sorry. But yeah, let's see what we got this week. Oh my god, that's so loud. Worst coach. I'm sure you all remember this from last year, and I think Raleigh has an official page. We maybe all be able to access it. Has an official page that'll actually break this down. But this is based off a percentage of your points that were left on the bench. So it's not necessarily most points on the bench, just the percentage of points left there. So you could score 60, have your bench put up like 10, and you win because your team sucks as a whole. So jot that down, Charlie. Yeah, so congratulations. There's our wheel. Worst coach. So everybody get your shitty teams out. And no, I'm not trying to stall while I do the timer for the Andy Isabella minute that I forgot to set up. Anyway, John, take us away for the Andy Isabella minute.
Andy Isabella minute. Andy Isabella minute. Andy Isabella minute. Andy Isabella.
All right, so that Justin Fields news I alluded to earlier is actually Andy Isabella news. Andy Isabella is getting a workout with the Pittsburgh Steelers this week. He was brought in with 8 other players. The Steelers desperately need some wide receiver help. So Andy Isabella is, he's working out with him this week. Some of the reports say there's no known evidence or no hint that a signing is anywhere imminent. But Andy Isabella's career in the NFL is not over. To piggyback off of that, I will read this Reddit post titled "Why is Andy Isabella bad?" under r/Dynasty Fantasy Football. And basically the breakdown, I don't even know why this guy asked this question because he answers it in his post. He says, I'm a big film grinder. His college film is not great, to be honest. When he gets open, it's never because he has a good feel for the game. It's either because he beats them over the top, which happens a lot, or they're just bad corners. I don't think he's anything special. So I don't know why he asked the question in the first place. And that's your Andy Isabella minute come to an end. Another, shut the fuck up. Damn. Hate that timer. Anyway, yeah, there's your Andy Isabella news for the week. Congratulations. And yeah, I'm not going to follow up on it because the minute's over. So, last week we got to start with Wade's matchup because he was playing Charlie. This week we get to start with Wade's matchup because he is in first place. And now taking on Andrew, who I believe just came off of a week where he was the highest scorer. Let me make sure, double check that. Yeah, just hung 141 in a week where most people were struggling to get over 100, except for Ashley. We don't talk about. That was mean. Yeah, so Andrew just put up a monster week, and I mean, you know, his team is kind of set up in that way, which is a weird way to say that his team is good, I guess. Jaden Daniels, obviously the shock of the season so far. Looks like not just the best rookie, but maybe one of the best quarterbacks in football. Definitely the best quarterback in the in the NFC East, I would say at that point, and probably a top one in the NFC as a whole. Him, Purdy, you know, Stafford, in that conversation. But what he does with his legs and how accurate he's been with his arm has just been unreal. Has had 3 games over 20 points, all three of those also being over 24 points. Last week against the Cardinals, just absolutely diced him up, added another touchdown with his legs. This week does get a little bit of a tougher matchup in Cleveland. Fun fact, I will be at this game. I will be live and in person for this. So Andrew, if you want me to leave him any notes, let me know. But I will be in Raljon for this game. Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's getting a tougher matchup in Cleveland this week. Obviously, he's still providing a ton of upside with his legs, but this is kind of his first real big test. You know, we've seen a lot of the defenses he played, the Buccaneers, Giants, Bengals, and Cardinals all be not exactly elite, you know, not exactly shutdown defenses. And this week he's got Cleveland. Next week he's got Baltimore. So it's going to be very interesting to see if he can continue his success against some very good defenses. And on the other side, you've got Geno Smith, who didn't write back. I mean, threw for 395 yards. Only found the end zone one time against the Lions last week. Obviously, Kenneth Walker found it twice and kind of took away some of the end of those drives. But 395 yards on a Lions defense that up to this point had been very, very good. I know I've talked about their secondary a lot, but they've improved. Very young, but that Lions defense was very, very good. This week they get the Giants, who are not. And I guess we consider this a Geno revenge game. You know, he was with the Giants. I would say the Jets are still his number one revenge team. But anytime you're playing an old team, it's very interesting. And he gets them at home in Seattle. So coming off a big week last week, yardage wise, I expect him to put up, you know, touchdowns to match that this week. Alvin Kamara gets probably the toughest matchup he's had all season and any running back can have. You know, he's obviously been incredibly productive all year, going all the way back to the 43-point game against Dallas. But once again, I mean, these first, you know, Atlanta's a solid defense. So it's a rivalry game. It gets a little bit weird, and he was productive in that game. The first 3 defenses he played this year were just paper in Philly, Dallas, and Carolina pre Andy Dalton. So it's really the Saints have been kind of an enigma this year. Actually, I really don't think they are. They played 2 bad teams. We hyped them up, and then they have since played 2 good to average teams and lost. Kansas City on Monday night, though, I don't love that matchup for Andrew there. Yeah, Kansas City has just been a dominant defense, only allowing 14 total fantasy points to opposing running backs. And that's a slew of running backs that include Derrick Henry and Bijan Robinson. So, yeah, I mean, good luck. Bucky Irving getting the start this week, obviously taking the mantle from Rachaad White. He found the end zone last week against Philly, and now he gets Atlanta this week, who is a top 10 rushing defense in the league. So interesting to see what he can do in his, I guess you would say, his starting debut, maybe is what you call it. I don't really know. But yeah, I mean, it's basically a new running back there. On the flip side, you've got Wade with two. Sorry, AB just got home and I heard the door slam and it threw me off. On the flip side, you've got Wade with James Conner and Jordan Mason playing each other. Obviously, Jordan Mason, I think, is very easily getting the better of that matchup. The Cardinals' run defense and defense as a whole has just been pretty atrocious this year. The 49ers defense has been not what we think they should be. And even last week in a pretty poor matchup against Washington, sorry, a matchup where they didn't score that well. They looked bad. The Cardinals did as a whole. 104 yards and a touchdown. James Conner is just productive. I'm nervous about the Cardinals as a football team. Kyler has not looked great outside of like one drive a game where he's just unbeatable. But James Conner has been productive, and like I said, the San Francisco run defense has not been what we think of when we think of the San Francisco run defense. Here's where things start to get fun. We have Chris Godwin against Atlanta, and Chris Godwin has just been a production machine all year. All he does is catch balls, and all he does is just put up consistent performances. Him getting Atlanta, I'm not worried about him at all. I mean, I don't think he's going for 30, but he's going to put up over 10 points and get you exactly what you need. Marvin Harrison against San Francisco is interesting. They're all interesting. I don't know what. Once again, I guess now I just go on my rant against the Cardinals. Since I'm not starting Kyler Murray, I guess I can do it now. I don't know if it's Kyler Murray's fault. I don't know if he doesn't know how to read defenses outside of like the initial game script. But the Cardinals every week come out and the first drive just look like, I mean, they could win the Super Bowl. Like they look like the best team in football. They do it to everyone. They did it against the Bills. They did it against the Rams. They did it against. They didn't. I guess they kind of did it against the Lions. I mean, they threw a touchdown on the first drive, and they did it against the Commanders. We thought that game was going to be a shootout immediately, and it just wasn't. So as long as Marvin Harrison gets his touchdown on that drive, which so far for the past 3 games he has, then great. If not, I don't know what to do, dude. They can't make adjustments. Kyler can't figure it out. I don't know what's going on. DK Metcalf just had a I thought he had a monster game. I guess he did. 104 yards. He looked awesome. Oh, he lost a fumble. That's why his stats look bad. And he didn't get in the end zone when he got stopped at the 1. That sucked, dude. Yeah, now he gets the Giants, so that should be a lot of fun. And the Geno DK like cross team battle. That'll be interesting. CeeDee Lamb caught I don't have the stats right in front of me, but I think he caught 150 passes last week. It was 7. It felt like 150. It felt like every single ball was going to CeeDee Lamb. And that's what CeeDee Lamb's supposed to do. That's what it should feel like. He gets the Steelers this week. I am kind of thinking that game might be a bloodbath. I'm thinking the Steelers might kill him. Micah Parsons is out. Dexter Lawrence is out. I know this has nothing to do with CeeDee Lamb, but just something to keep an eye on. And so far, the Cowboys defense can't do a damn thing. But I do think that bodes well for Andrew. I do think the Steelers probably take a lead in that game, and it doesn't really matter. It's the Cowboys can't move the ball any other way besides throwing it to CeeDee Lamb. So, I mean, he is the entire offense. Like, what are you going to do? Hand it to Rico Dowdle 30 times? No. You're going to hand it to Zeke 30 times? No. He would turn it to dust. So, yeah, the only option left there. And I was pissed off a couple weeks ago when I realized that Andrew had stashed Deontay Johnson. Obviously just flying under the radar, and then all of a sudden the Red Rocket shows up, and now he's like one of the more valuable wide receivers in football. Kind of the same thing that happened with Adam Thielen last year. But yeah, he's gone for 22 and 17 in back-to-back weeks, and has had multiple other opportunities for touchdowns. Like, that's probably underperforming for the targets that he's been getting. Does look like he missed practice today, so that's something interesting to keep an eye on. And we'll see if T. Higgins maybe sneaks into the lineup there, or if he takes a flyer on. And he probably do Dontavian Wicks, or he probably don't start Jalen Waddle until Tua's back. But just something to keep an eye on. And then Wade over here in his flex with the JSN and Geno stack. A lot of Seahawks flying around in here. Maybe get a Giant in there just to mix things up. I mean, as far as looking at these two teams, I do think the running back duo of Connor and Mason are going to be a lot to deal with. Kamara with the nasty Chiefs matchup, I think is going to be a little bit limited. And then, you know, having your premier player in CeeDee Lamb going against a legit shutdown defense in the Steelers does make me nervous there as well. So I am going to go with Wade winning this matchup, staying in first place, assuming all the tiebreakers stay normal. Yeah. Congratulations, Wade, on your win. And congratulations in advance for possibly getting Cooper Kupp back here soon and making your team that much better. Moving on to who is my second place team? Who we got here? We got T-Money Mayhem playing the winless Trevor. Trevor sitting at 0-4, desperately needing a win. Yeah, you need a win. You need to win real bad. Also, the two parties involved in what at this point I think is the only trade this week, unless that Kelsey bullshit is coming anytime soon. We talked about Trevor picking up Brock Purdy with a great matchup against the Cardinals this week. You know, I now that waivers are processed, I also had a claim in for Purdy. I did have Fields as my number one choice. But Purdy being there playing the Cardinals this week is juicy. I mean, last week against the who the fuck did they even play last week? Oh, against the Patriots. Put up 288 yards, was kept out of the end zone through a pick, kind of hampered his numbers there. But the week before against the Rams, 292, 3 touchdowns. That was the Juwan Jennings game. And it looks like his going nowhere, which I'll get to that later, but Jesus Christ. So yeah, I love the Purdy pickup this week. I think he's just gonna dice up the Cardinals. You know, your only worry there is that they start blowing him out and it just becomes a Jordan Mason fest. Lambjack gets the Bengals. Bengals defense is poopy, by the way. I don't know if y'all have paid attention to that this year. I mean, I assume you did because we all watched the Monday night game where Jaden Daniels had 2 incompletions. Yeah, and then they gave up 24 to the Panthers. I mean, there was a point where they could have lost that game. Yeah, the Bengals defense is not in a good place right now. And Lamar Jackson is playing his ass off. So last week, 54 yards, a touchdown on the ground. I mean, he's been Lamar Jackson. He's just doing Lamar Jackson things, and now he has Derrick Henry to take some of the pressure off on the ground. Yeah, I can't believe I can't believe anybody would have given up Derrick Henry. Me and the Titans, just right there. Fucking stupid. Now here's where shit gets ugly. Just all around, by the way. This running back matchup is yeah. It's Rico Dowdle and Trey Sermon against Travis Etienne. It's funny, 5 weeks in, and really 2.5 years, and I still can't figure out if he's Trevor or Travis. Travis Etienne, Jerome Ford. Yeah, I mean, like, Trey Sermon's gonna be the starting running back for the Indianapolis Colts, so that's something nice I can say about him. Jerome Ford, I think, is the starting running back for the Cleveland Browns. I'm just saying, like, I don't have any beef with Travis Etienne. It's just not a good sign when between two teams, he's the best running back that you can put out there. So that's my analysis on this game. This is my entire analysis on this game. I think we do get a big George Pickens this week and obviously I have Justin Fields now, so I have to say that. But last week against Indy, put up 113 yards, did lose a fumble, so it kind of hurt him there, but 113 yards through the air. Has had a couple big games here and there, and gets a Dallas defense who has not been the cleanest in the world. Has been exploitable, and I like I said, I think the Steelers win that game, and I think Justin Fields has kind of arrived in Pittsburgh. Hopefully, anyway. Once again, have to say that. Brian Thomas Jr. has been not even close to the best rookie wide receiver. It's his former LSU teammate, Malik Neighbors. But he's been very, very good. Had another touchdown last week, 86 yards. Trevor Lawrence missed a lot of throws, but I mean, they had a chance to win that game against a very, very good Houston team. I'm not saying Trevor Lawrence has figured it out. I'm just saying he has gotten off the mat of being complete dog ass to being like maybe below average on ass watch. So he was hitting Christian Kirk, he was hitting Brian Thomas, he was still not hitting Evan Ingram, who I think retired maybe. So that's something to keep an eye on. But yeah, on the other side, I mean, Tyreek Hill has just been largely irrelevant since Tua went out. We all kind of knew that was going to be the case. He's going to get Tyler Huntley against the Patriots again this week, and then a bye week, and then when did he get hurt? Who did he get hurt against? The Bills. So I guess after week 6, he would be eligible. Tua would be eligible to return, and hopefully you can get Tyreek Hill back. But until then, I mean, you got to pray he breaks a screen loose. That's really your only option. On the other side, Malik Neighbors is not going to play this week. I forgot. So, yeah, he's got a concussion. He's not practicing. They're saying he's in the early stages of the protocol. Oh, fuck, dude. This is about to get real ugly. I guess that means you're going to slot in Terry McLaurin and then play Chase Brown against the Ravens in the flex. Oh, Tim. I just said I can't laugh at anybody, so I'm not going to laugh, but like this is not good, dude. This is really not good. I know you wanted Jameson Williams real bad, but Jerome Ford would be doing wonders for your team right now. I gotta say. Yikes. Trevor has Jawan Jennings in the flex, so he's going to put up 106 points against the Cardinals. Man, Tim, this is brutal, dude. Pray for Malik Neighbors. Hope he gets better by Sunday. And on that note, I do believe Trevor gets his first win of the week. Yeah, I didn't notice any of this. Saquon out on a bye. I mean, half of Trevor's team is on a bye too. I mean, this game is. I can tell you this confidently: neither one of these teams are winning the wheel this week. That's my analysis. Trevor wins, first win. Congratulations, Tim. Hit me up, Tim. You need some help. Not that my team is worth this shit, but I have players that are alive and will be on the field. So, maybe we can talk. Damn, dude. Trey Sermon's gonna have a big week, man. Don't even worry about it. Don't even sweat it, bro. Yikes. Anyway, in third place we have Ashley, who will be playing Raleigh. Oh, a matchup of 2, 3, and 1 teams. One team has been very good, and one team has been winning ugly games, and I'll let you guess which one is which. It's Ashley's team is good. It's scary. Sam Darnold gets his revenge game against the Jets this week. Game in London. So the London games this week. Sam Darnold at 9:30 a.m. with Aaron Jones. Who knew that just getting Vikings was going to be the fucking move? Jordan Addison had 2 touchdowns last week. We'll see if he makes his debut. I guess not debut. I think he played in week 1. We'll see if he makes it into the lineup this week. If he does, he can't really bench Brian Robinson for Jonathan Taylor's hurt. So you move Aaron Jones to the running back, and then you slot in Jordan Addison in the flex. It's super easy. Baker Mayfield gets Atlanta. Once again, going for the Baker train. I don't want to interrupt this to look at Raleigh's entire week by week history, but his quarterback rotation has been just one for the ages. Last week Baker put up 347 and 2 tuds against a flailing Eagles defense. This week he gets Atlanta, who is better than the Eagles on that side of the ball anyway. So we'll see if he can continue that production in a divisional game in Atlanta on the road, short week. Very interested there. I touched on the running backs here. Jonathan Taylor, it sounds like all signs are pointing to him not playing. He did not practice today. So like I said, I think we probably get Aaron Jones moved up to the running back, and then we get Jordan Addison either flexed in, maybe Josh Jacobs against the Rams. Actually, damn. Damn, you got Josh Jacobs and Jordan Addison on the bench. Fuck, dude, my team sucks for real. Sorry, I got distracted. That was crazy. I just realized that. Kyron Williams against the Packers. I mean, the Kyron Williams is just a touch machine, and once again, he's the only legally alive person in the LA. So, like, I mean, he's gonna get points because he's the only one that can. Now the wide receiver room here is pretty solid between both players. Khalil Shakir did get banged up last week, but came back in the game. Sounds like, I mean, he's probably gonna be fine. He did not practice today, so maybe keep an eye on it there. But we've already discussed you have the depth to take care of that with Addison going to receiver, and then you Josh Jacobs wherever he can fit in. So not a lot of concern there. And obviously, personally I would love to get the Addison, Aaron Jones, and Sam Darnold stack going pretty much every week at this point. It doesn't really matter who you're playing. So I assume by Saturday night, Sunday morning, we'll see some combination of them. On the other side, Mike Evans and Deebo Samuel, the Mayfield Evans stack. There's gonna be a lot of stacks this week. It's gonna be real fun. Maybe I should pick up Andy Isabella, see if I can throw a stack gif around. And then Deebo Samuel against the Cardinals. I mean, like every 49er not named Jawan Jennings is a question mark at this point, or Jordan Mason. The two guys they just paid all that money to, obviously, because they did just pay a running back and a receiver. I think there's enough passing to go around against Arizona this week. Hopefully that's fucking true. The last couple weeks it just hasn't. I mean, there has been enough. It just, fucking ball hog Jawan Jennings. Yeah, and then Amari Cooper might be a Chief, so it won't be this week, obviously, but that's what the streets are saying. So maybe, I don't know. I'll see Amari Cooper. Another little side tangent here. I feel like every game I go to regular season is against either the Browns or the Vikings. I've been to like 7 NFL games and I've only seen like 4 teams. This the Saints, the Falcons, the Browns, and the Vikings. The only teams I ever watched. And then that one weird Bills Texans game. Sorry, that was another little side tangent. But Amari Cooper gets the Commanders this week, who they did shut down the Cardinals last week, but I think that's more of a Cardinals problem than it is the Commanders figuring it out on defense. I mean, Dan Quinn is a good defensive head coach, so maybe they're starting to turn a corner. And if they are, that's scary for Amari Cooper because the Browns just suck all around. But I think Amari Cooper can get himself open enough for a bad Deshaun Watson to hit him. Yeah, as far as projecting a winner here goes, I think I am going to lean Ashley. The website has it 98-90 against Ashley, but I think obviously the score is a lot lower because we're factoring in a Jonathan Taylor injury, Khalil Shakir injury. I think once we get Addison and Jacobs in the lineup for either one of them being hurt, yeah, we're having a different conversation. I will project Ashley to win again, moving to 4-1, knocking Raleigh down to 3-2. Yeah, and if everything holds from what I've said, I think that moves her into second place. I don't know what the tiebreakers will be between her and Wade, and whoever else ends up at 3-1. Actually, I think they're the only 3. So yeah, it would be between her and Wade, and I don't know what the tiebreakers are there. I don't think they played each other this year, so it would be points. Yeah, now moving on. Don't even have to go look at the standings because I know me and Cameron ain't next. So we got Charlie versus John. Charlie now falling to 2-2. John also at 2-2. So somebody's going over 500. Somebody's going under this week. Jordan Love is finally back. Last week had 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. I actually don't even know if Charlie started him last week. I assume he did, but I didn't actually look. No, he started Derek Carr. So yeah, he finally gets his drafted quarterback back. And I mean, Jordan Love had the production there. The 3 picks obviously were bad, but 28 points, 389 yards, 4 touchdowns. I mean, just crazy numbers. against a really good Vikings defense. And this week he gets the Rams, who are not crazy good, maybe crazy bad on the secondary. So I love the week, love the matchup for Jordan Love. And then Josh Allen on the other side. If there's anybody you're going to have to cancel out everything that he can do. And so far he's going 31, 9, 30, 7. So this week he should have around 29 points if the pattern's holding up in Houston. Derrick Henry, I don't even want to talk about it. Actually, you know what? I'll mention it. So Sunday, I was at work all day. I'm going on vacation this week, so I had to work a Sunday to kind of make my schedule work with that. So I was busy while Red Zone was going on. Obviously, I was getting my ass kicked. And then I finally get off. I go home. Actually, we go to a house party. And I was like, let me just check on the score of the Ravens game real quick. And I opened my phone and saw Derrick Henry 87-yard touchdown. And I deleted the fantasy app, and I deleted Discord, and I deleted my sports scores app, and I put my phone in my pocket. And I went on about my night and did not re-download everything until the following night on Monday when I rejoined for Monday Night Football. So Derrick Henry has single-handedly crushed my soul. We got Kenneth Walker in the lineup this week after putting up 31 points. Obviously, there was some nerves about Detroit's run defense and Kenneth Walker's health, and then he put up 31 points. He put up 80 yards and 3 touchdowns. Well, 116 total yards, 3 touchdowns. Devon Achane, dude. I mean, Dolphins without Tua, I don't. It's sad to even mention. I don't even want to talk about it. On the other side, we got Rachaad White, the RB2 for the Buccaneers, and that's not said as a joke. As a man who owns 2 RB2s, it's just a fact of where we are in the world. Playing against Atlanta, who does have a solid rush defense. I don't love that matchup. Actually, I hate it, and I hate playing that. So I don't know. We'll see if maybe Zamir White can sneak his way into the lineup. We'll see if Emmanuel Wilson, if you can trust him. I don't know how you do. You probably do just go ahead and start Rachaad White and hope for the best. But I don't love that there. DJ Moore caught a touchdown. He had 22 yards and a touchdown. I did not realize he only had 22 yards. He had another there was another play where he maybe sold his quarterback a little bit, but what are you gonna do? Now he gets Carolina, who whatever, dude. DJ Moore has quit so hard on this team, it's incredible. And as a man who has always played on shitty teams, like, I don't understand it. Your teams have always sucked. So having a rookie quarterback with a bad O-line is nothing new. You've been doing that for 10 years. Why? Maybe he hates Caleb Williams. Maybe he knows that Caleb Williams. Maybe I'm wrong about Caleb Williams. I've never been wrong about anything. Maybe I'm wrong about Caleb Williams, and maybe he knows, and maybe that's why he's playing like an asshole. So there's my DJ Moore analysis. Rashid Shaheed, man, I guess Devontae Adams is hurt, so is Christian Watson. So your entire wide receiver score is pretty crippled. He at least put up points last week, 83. I mean, fuck, he outscored both of my wide receivers. I don't know why I'm talking shit, dude. He outscored both of my receivers. He had 11.7 points. This week against Kansas City, that makes me very nervous. It would be hard for me to start a Saint this week. I mean, obviously you can't keep like a Kamara or an Olave out, but it would be hard for me to trust any other Saints against the Chiefs. Really, any team against the Chiefs. I just like play your studs, but that matchup scares the shit out of me. It got me to trade Derrick Henry, so that's where we're at. On the other side, John might have just the best 2 wide receivers in football. Nico Collins has been playing out of his fucking mind. He's a monster. And Justin Jefferson has been that for 3 years. Jaden Reed is one of the most electric, fun, young players in the league. John's team, I think I said last week that he's my official pick to win the league. Even down to the point where Rashee Rice after that hit is maybe okay. He may not even go to he's not missing the season. He's may not even go to IR. That to me tells me everything I need to know about John's team this year. scary good. So if it comes to a surprise to anyone, I'm going to go ahead and just pick John to win here. You know, I do think Charlie has a chance to salvage this. Obviously, Derrick Henry's going to carry a lot of his team. We've talked about the Devontae Adams trade or possible trade. So if he can get to a contender, you know, there's some pieces there for Charlie. But it's going to be a rough week or two before Devontae Adams can find his home. So John here to move to 3-2, and Charlie to join us in the sub 500 train, which leaves us with just one matchup left. 1-3 versus 1-3. Me versus Cameron. I made a change at quarterback. We're going Justin Fields against the Cowboys. Kyler Murray, you know, I could deal with one bad game. I could deal with two bad games in a row, and, you know, 3 out of 4. Now we're starting to see, now it's a trend. Now the Cardinals just suck. They're not even really that fun to watch. You know, 2 years ago I made the mistake, I think, of not, actually Kyler was not the problem with that team. Kyler was actually the only consistency with that team. You know, I've made mistakes in the past with sticking with players longer than I need to. You know, I'm not giving up on them, I'm not dropping them, but we just need to get Fields to start this week. Now I can go ahead and knock out, well, actually I can't. I was gonna say I can go ahead and knock out the entire Cameron analysis with the Texans game, but it looks like Joe Mixon is on track to miss another week. He didn't practice today. I don't know what has he got going on, a hamstring. Oh, that's Damian Pierce. I actually don't even know what is wrong with him, but I just know that he's missed a couple games and did not practice today, so it looks like he's going to miss again, which leaves Chuba Hubbard and Najee Harris as your running backs. Chuba Hubbard with 20-point performances in back-to-back weeks. He does get the Bears, who has been allowing points to running backs. You know, the defense is, I would say, better than Cincinnati. You know, maybe better than the Raiders. Probably better than the Raiders. You know, it's just really hard to tell because the two good defenses that the Panthers have played, they also started Bryce Young. So it's really hard to tell if the Panthers are good or if they just played bad teams the past 2 weeks, or bad defenses at least. So I guess we'll find out this week. But I mean, it looks like Chuba Hubbard, I mean, he's gone over 100 yards the last 2 weeks. He scored a touchdown in each of them. It's scarier than I would like it to be. And it's just crazy that for the past like 5 years, there has been a stretch where Chuba Hubbard is the man, like the guy to have in fantasy. And here we are again. I mean, time is a flat circle. Najee Harris has been he's been Najee Harris. I mean, I don't know what else to say. He scores between 7 and 12 points. He's been doing it for 4 years. He's yet to find the end zone this season, so I mean that could be the tendency breaker for his points scored. But that's it. Bijan Robinson and Breece Hall. I'll give Bijan the benefit of the doubt. You know, it came out that he had some hamstring tightness. He's okay. Looks like he's okay. But that's why Tyler Algier got some carries in the second half. Shut up. Ask me to call emergency. He's off the injury report. He looks good to go tomorrow night. He's playing New Orleans, tough defense, rivalry game. Like I said, he came out Monday and he said, "Yeah, I had a hamstring. You know, it's we played it a little cautious." What the fuck is Breece Hall's problem? 10 rushes for 4 yards. At one point, I looked up and he had like 7 rushes for -4 yards. He caught 2 passes for 14 yards. Is it the Jets or is it Breece Hall? I don't know what the fuck the problem is. I couldn't watch the game because I was at work. So I actually don't know. I need someone to tell me. Is Breece Hall, is he bad? The Jets bad? Braylon Allen did fine. Okay, I guess, actually. Yeah, 8 carries for 34 yards for Braylon. I mean, they didn't touch the end zone. Yeah, and now he gets the Vikings, who are just a renaissance defense. And then he gets Buffalo, and then he gets Pittsburgh, and then he gets, well, New England. But he didn't. The fuck is Breece Hall's problem? He's 23. He's not washed up, unless he is at 23, which is crazy. Whatever. I'm so pissed off at these two. So pissed off. But at least I get to start Christian Kirk and Brandon Ayuk. I mean, this has been brutal. Christian Kirk figured it out last week, it looked like. I mean, he was running wide open. He gets the Colts, who have a bad secondary. So maybe we can get another good performance out of Christian Kirk. Praying for it. Yeah, Indianapolis 26 against the pass. Yeah, it's 12 targets last week. This is the Christian Kirk I've been waiting on all year. Obviously, the Jags have been a dumpster fire, so it's been a little bit tough to get him going. But it looks like he is going now. So I don't feel as bad about having to start him. I do feel bad about having to start Brandon Ayuk. Luckily, he gets the Cardinals. Has yet to eclipse 50 yards receiving. Hasn't found the end zone. I don't even two catches for 48 yards. I mean, he's never been like a target hog. Like, that's more your Debo, your Kittle. But he's usually, 5 catches, and they're usually deep balls. Like, bro. Whatever, man. Stephon Diggs scares me. He's just a touchdown machine. Did he had another touchdown last week, 69 yards receiving. He's obviously like the second, maybe even the third option in Houston, but like CJ Stroud can easily, handle that. They do get a really, really tough matchup in Buffalo this week, and a Buffalo team that just got embarrassed. Now, they are still missing a few key pieces on defense. I don't know if Terrell Bernard's playing again. Obviously they're banged up and old anyway, and Von Miller just got a 4-game suspension. So we'll see how that defense stacks up. But that game being in Buffalo, I am counting on the Bills to stand back up and figure it the fuck out. And then obviously you got Drake London, who there's been much ado about Drake London. He finally has found the end zone a couple times, but he's been better than Brandon Ayuk, I can tell you that. That's about all I can really say for him as far as compliments go. Darnell Mooney is the wide receiver 1 there, and he's on my bench. Maybe he plays. I don't know. I haven't figured out if I'm going to start Darnell Mooney or Zach Moss. I'm leaning towards just keeping Zach Moss in there. The Ravens matchup does scare me, but I don't. So does playing 3 Falcons. So I don't know. Maybe somebody can give me some help there. I don't think that's going to make or break this matchup. We do have Justice Hill making an appearance on the other side, with Joe Mixon projected not to play. Ezekiel Elliott with a tough matchup. Maybe we see Tyler Lockett sneak into the flex there for Cameron here pretty soon. But as of right now, it's Justice Hill. And I don't think it's a bad play. We've seen about a 60-40 split with them. Obviously, Justice Hill getting a ton of receiving work. Basically just the permanent third down back there. And can spell Derrick Henry on some rushes too. I'm not quite labeling this like a must win, but it's a pretty important game for both of us. I mean, starting 1-4 is a real tough hole to come out of. I mean, for me specifically, I can't speak to Cameron. I don't know what his season game plan is, but I'll just lay out mine. I mean, it's survive this week. To win however you can. I don't care if it's 50-40. I just need a win. And then you get AJ Brown back, and everything changes. Your team's completely different. This has been the Rat Avenger League Weekly Preview. If you need me, I will be in Washington, D.C. this week. If you need me to tell anybody anything, whether it be Commanders, the team, or Commanders, the position, or any type of leadership, or the Washington Nationals, I will also talk to them. I'm not going to fuck with the Capitals. I don't do hockey, but I'll let everybody else know. Have a good weekend. Good luck. Bye.